What is going on, everybody? This is my first time going live here, so if you guys can hear me, drop a comment below. Today I want to talk about, let's see, I can see the comments here. So today I want to talk about my RV value, and I don't know if any of you are on here. So yeah, it looks like someone's on here. So I'm just gonna jump right in and talk right about it and start to share some of my tricks at how I find RV values. So I'm thinking about selling my Tiffin Phaeton right now, and I also want to give you guys any advice. A lot of you have been reaching out in messages, and I haven't been able to get back to anybody. So I'm going to try to answer as many comments and answer as many of your questions. What's going on, Jerry Ramirez? What's going on, Greg in Michigan? Appreciate you guys. So first, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about how I get the value of my coach, and then I want to answer some of your questions. So I'm going to take a drink of water here real quick. This is my first time going live here. It looks like there's quite a few jumping in here real quick. So the best trick, if you want to get the value of your coach, can everybody hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me. The best trick to be able to find out the value of a coach that you're considering buying is go to the dealerships, go to other dealerships and ask them what they'll pay on trade-in value. So today, no, this is just water here. This is smart water. Someone asked if it's vodka. Definitely not. So yeah, so today I've been calling around a bunch of different dealerships, asking them what the value is, and I'll tell you guys here in a little bit, what some of the people have told me. If you guys want to leave a comment below, appreciate that, Stano. You're a original subscriber. Stan's been around since the very beginning. If you guys want to drop a comment, what do you guys think the value of my coach is? NADA retail is 114. So I just did a pretty extensive remodel. If you haven't already seen that video, it's titled $30,000 Tiffin remodel. You can see a whole video of my coach in that if you haven't already. And if you guys have some questions too, would be happy to answer some of your questions. 130,000. Heather and Court, what's going on? Good to see you guys in here. My coach is a 2008 Tiffin Phaeton 42 QRH. It's got the Cummins 360 Allison 3000 transmission. It's on a Spartan chassis. It's a tag axle. The Michelin tires have date codes of 2015. So some people say Michelin tires will go like 7 years, but I don't know. Probably is going to need new rubber here pretty soon. So let me see. I'm not seeing these comments here. Appreciate you guys. How do you know? I wonder how I turn on my super chats here. Yeah, appreciate that, Carl, on my artwork. I don't know. Endless RV, Izzy and MJ, if you guys want to let me know how to turn on super chat, if there's a way to do that, that'd be cool. But if not, I'll call them and figure it out for next time. So I have my phone on silent right now, so no one can call me. But yeah, it's gonna need new tires, Michelin's. It's 8 years old. So yeah, so I called about, I don't know, 4 or 5 different dealerships today, and from all the dealerships that I've talked to, they've been saying about 125 to 130,000 is what I should ask for it, and that would be putting new tires on it. Let's see, super chats and enable. I'm trying to enable this here. Hopefully I'm not messing it up here. I'm trying to turn on the super chat here. Sorry guys, this is my first time doing this here. See all kinds of people here. So, no, I don't want to stop streaming. Sorry guys. All right, there we go. Well, I don't know. I'm not really sure how to turn super chats on. I'll have to do that next time. Izzy and MJ, thanks so much for filling me in. If you guys haven't already seen their channel too, they're up to like 17,000 subscribers. They've been growing really quickly. Robert, my year's at 2008. I'm not sure what I'm going to buy next. So I've been shopping for all of these different options. I think the RV market is actually starting to swing. I've seen the first couple signs recently of people saying, "Hey, we bought an RV in March and we used it during all of this, and now we're getting ready to sell it." People are flying more. People are staying in hotels more often. So I think the demand is still in favor of the sellers. Was a backup on the parts. If you guys didn't already know, the supply chain's been a little bit backed up. So like when I was just in Elkhart, Indiana, at some of the factories, they were waiting. You would see the list of stuff that they were waiting on because they didn't have side windows or microwaves or refrigerators or whatnot. It's got about 45,000 miles on it, 46,000 miles. It's in Bend, Oregon right now. So it's east of all the fires. Oh, Matt, you're killing me, man. I know Matt would throw me a super chat too. I've got to figure that out. Yeah, I don't know, guys. This is my first time. I'll have to figure out the super chat for next time, but I appreciate that, Matt. Matt's RV reviews in the house. Great channel. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen his channel as well. He's jumped up to like 75,000 subscribers recently. Congrats, Matt. Stano, country coach, definitely an option. For me, it's all about just finding kind of the right deal, the right coach. I want to find something that, thanks, Endless RVing, appreciate it. I'll definitely be hitting you guys up later to figure that out. So, but yeah, country coach is definitely an option. I'm definitely impressed with that. For me, it's all about finding the right deal. You know, of course, I always want to step up and get something nicer. I'm not afraid to get something older. Alex says that the dealer offered $42,000 on a Chateau. Oh, the comment just disappeared. Sold it privately for $50,000. Checked my advice with the NADA. Cool deal, Alex. Yeah, so I was saying earlier, if you just jumped into the chat, I was saying earlier a really good theory when you're buying an RV to get the value. And the dealers are going to hate me for saying this. Matt's RV reviews is in the house. I'm sure he loves people that like this. But call 4 or 5 dealers and get a buy bid as if you just want to sell that coach. Tell them like, hey, listen, if I were to just bring you this coach and sell it and not trade it in, what's a wholesale bid on it? And then you'll get a pretty good idea. So I called several dealers today. Hey, Theodore, what's going on? If you guys haven't seen, when I was in Indiana there, I got to hang out with Theodore and drive his grandfather's, previously owned by his grandfather's Newmar Essex. That was really cool. And then we did a whole walkthrough on that. And then Endless RVing was out there too. I'm really looking forward to seeing the videos that they do. I'm sure they're still editing those. I know they were just there. I'm ADD, guys. I forgot what I was talking about a minute ago. See, this is why editing is so much better than going live. So no, I was talking about calling the dealerships and basically get a hard quote, and then you have a good idea at what your coach is worth because you'll know what the hard wholesale bid is. So this is just water, guys. It's not vodka. Yeah, all kinds of YouTube channels in the house. Prevo Life in the house, Matt's RV reviews, and then also Theodore has a channel too. I've been telling people to subscribe to it. Maybe enough of you head over to Theodore's channel. Maybe he'll start making some cool YouTube videos. He's got access to a lot of cool content up there. So, but yeah, so the dealerships I called, I got buy bids. and I did this about 6 months ago, and I remember I got a buy bid for about 60 grand from a Camping World. And then I think they'd probably go up now just because book has actually jumped on this coach. It was like 92 grand was book on it not too long ago. Now book is 114 is NADA retail. Those of you that don't know, check out NADA RV. That's a really good source to get RV pricing. Um, but there's a pretty big gap there. Now, if I'm gonna consign it, I had all different dealers, throw different numbers at me. I still don't know how I'm gonna sell it, or if I'm gonna even sell it. I've got to find the right person that wants the coach. I'm not a big fan of playing RV salesman personally, just because it takes up a lot of time, and I already have plenty of tire kickers asking me for advice already. So I don't. It would just be really hard for me to try to field calls. I don't know how Matt's RV reviews does it, man. I got to tip my hat to Matt's RV reviews. He's just got a new position too. Congrats to Matt, where he's kind of a YouTube spokesperson for General RV. He's been doing a lot of cool stuff with them too. So I gotta show you guys too. I'm gonna drink a little 5 hour here. So you guys have any questions for me? What kind of questions you guys have? All these people are constantly emailing me and direct messaging me questions, and I don't have time to get back. So I thought I would take a little time today. I've never tried to eBay sell it with a reserve. That's a good idea though, Curtis, though. I appreciate that. Please say no about the Murata. Just a little caffeine here. It was half of a 5 hour tube. So no, I did not buy a site in Las Vegas. I was just kind of shopping, getting a feel for it. I'm really impressed with that, though, with that stadium going in. And I think Nevada has a lot of, it's just a very friendly place to be a resident. No, I didn't sell my detailing business. I still have all of my equipment, and I basically sublet or just pass off the work to other guys that I know, kind of depending on what the needs are. I know a few other guys. So. Hey Gary, how you doing? Yeah, Facebook Marketplace. I'm thinking about, actually I have a Mercedes that I'm thinking about selling. I don't use it very often. It's a 2008 Mercedes R350. So I've got a 2008 Tiffin Phaeton I'm trying to sell, in a 2008 Mercedes R350. It's just a good time to sell stuff right now because there's just the supply and demand is just crazy. So I'll be curious, to see if it's starting to cool off or if this stuff sells quickly. Corey Sachs, am I an X or an H? I really like the options. I like the basement bays and the H, the huge basement bays, but I like that look of the XL too. Sell it before the market tanks. Yeah, definitely good advice. Yeah, let a dealer handle the sale. Yeah, exactly. I'm not trying to do a deal. So someone's like messaging me right now. So guys, if you message me, a lot of people have added me on Facebook, and there's no way I can keep up with all the questions. So that's why I wanted to go live to try to answer questions. But like someone just messaged me right now, and I'm just not going to be able to answer that question. What I tell people if they message me, if they want to compensate me at a rate of $100 an hour, I'm more than happy to jump on a phone call with them. And I've had several people that's worked out really well. If you do want to have me consult and walk you through the RV buying process, you can email me at ansautodetail@gmail.com, and I charge $100 an hour to try to help guide you. So unfortunately, there's just way too many people that message me, and all that there's just no way to keep up. So that's why I wanted to do this live stream. I'm not seeing these comments here. Your next coach, Prevost. I don't know. I mean, I'm not. I like Newells. I like Prevost. Country coaches. Another good diesel pusher. Um, I just always like to get new stuff. I've had that coach for about a year and a half now, and I don't know if if I got the right deal on a new Tiffin. For me, a lot of it's about finding the right deal on a clean coach. I like the pre DEF stuff. Heather and Court, the silver Prevost, the salvage title Prevost with 1.3 million miles. Kyle wants 100 grand for it. That's a lot of coach. Especially he's got like the 365s. There's just so much equipment on that coach. Um, that and those, like I said in that video, they're like an airplane where if you just take care of them and keep maintaining them, those just keep going. um, I'm not catching all these comments. I hope I'm not missing you guys. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't buy new unless it was a really good deal. Now someone says don't buy new because of depreciation. Well, sometimes you can buy new, and I don't know if Matt's RV reviews is in here, but he could vouch for me on this. If you buy at the right time and get a really good deal, and then get in and get out of it depending on supply and demand, you can do all right on new stuff sometimes, like with trucks, especially like 3/4 ton trucks. You just can't find them used. So there's certain units where if you really grind around and get a good deal on it, you can get in and get out without getting hurt too bad. Yeah, Kyle's a stand-up dude. Absolutely. Oh, I'm not seeing these comments keep flashing at me here. Um, no, it's definitely not vodka. It's smart water. So what other questions do you guys got for me? 170 people in here. Don't buy a Prevost with over 1 million miles on it, Feline says. It's definitely a gamble, but I don't know. Kyle keeps them running. I've seen it firsthand, so he's not afraid of. He's got well over 1 million miles on several buses. I'm always a nomad. Do I plan to move away from Arizona? I mean, Arizona's home base for me, but I'm always a nomad. Big Tony's around. He's working locally here. I talked to him the other day. He's just super busy. There's a country coach going. Well, yeah, country coach in 2008. That sold for 700 is going for 174, but that's 13 years ago. The 21s are out now. So yeah, anything you buy new in 13 years is going to depreciate 75%. Well, maybe not. If you look at a 13-year-old Liberty coach, maybe not quite 75%, but they definitely depreciate quite a bit. So you would not buy anything from this year, 2020. That's a Dave Froman. That's actually a really good point that you make that I haven't even thought about yet. But obviously, right now it's been just a really weird year because the RV industry didn't know what supply and demand was, and they really started cranking units out, and they've been under the gun to get these units out. So there is a good chance that quality may be sliding a little bit, and we won't really know. But that's a great comment. No, I don't know if I'm going to live full time. I've done full time before, but it's just nice living in sticks and bricks. Hold on, I'm missing these comments here. Sorry guys, I'm such a rookie at this. Do you ever camp in your RV? Oh, I use it for all kinds of different stuff. I use my RV for, yeah, all kinds of different stuff. I don't know why I want to sell it. I want to sell it just because the supply and demand of the market really, and I'd like to get something more stable. I made a video talking about it. It was titled, why I want to sell my Tiffin Phaeton, but basically, just to put down a lot of miles, like even on a Sprinter chassis, I could probably put down a lot more miles in a day than I can in that Tiffin. It's just a lot of, I mean, it's definitely a smooth ride, but it's still a lot of work when you're, you know, behind the wheel of a 42,000 pound machine. My nerves are up a lot more. A car is just a lot more reactive. And I'm not saying a Prevo wouldn't be, you still have to treat it the same way. But I think the steering on the Prevo, it's just a little bit tighter. It doesn't jolt you. It's a heavier machine, so it's a little more on rails. So you can still focus on handling the machine, but it's just not as hard on your, I don't know if that makes sense. It's just not as hard on you, like as much joggling of the steering wheel. Um, and I've just heard that it's a lot easier to put down miles on a Prevo. You'll be able to see all the chat. It won't disappear like on the phone. Thank you, Izzy and MJ. So I'm going to put this live on this computer over here, and maybe I can see your guys' chat here. Yeah, I definitely want to head out to Newell in Miami. That's definitely on my list. Let's see how I don't even know how to, I can't see my live chat here on my other, let's see, comments. Yeah, I'm not, sorry guys, I'm trying to follow the comments. See the chat. All right. What's my opinion? Someone asked. Yeah, I was considering selling my Prevo and found out lenders don't go out further than 15 to 20 years. That's very true. Really, over 10 years, the rates are going to be a lot higher rates. A vintage fully converted bus that sat for 12 years. I don't know. I would want to get it inspected by a good mechanic. Bob Bobber's asking, what's your opinion on a vintage fully converted bus that sat for 12 years? Definitely get it inspected, and you're probably going to need to do a lot of work. Deborah asked if you call Premier RV with your VIN number, they'll give you more information. I don't know. You'd have to. I make so many videos. I kind of remember them saying something like that, but I don't know if you'd have to go back and watch all those country coach videos from Premier. I've got like over 400 videos, so I can't remember everything. I made a bunch of videos out there. Let's see here. I don't know how to get this chat on my computer here. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think my coach will sell if I list it for 130 with new tires? Maybe take 125 with new tires on it. What do you guys think? Corey, shoot me an email at ansautodetail@gmail.com, and there's just a lot of different variables. On listing your Allegro bus for sale. I hope it would get retail. I recently did a deal where I literally tightened everything up at Premier RV. They treated me really well, and I just kind of nitpicked a bunch of little stuff and had them fix everything recently. There's a couple minor, like there's a tile that needs to be replaced from the remodel on the step cover. Basically, the step cover slams open, so a tile fell off, so I need to get that reset. That's the only thing wrong with it right now that I know of. I need to get up to Oregon and grab my coach. What is my new business? I've been making YouTube videos. It's actually, YouTube's been paying pretty well. Huge thanks to all of you guys watching these videos and subscribing, and YouTube's been really good lately. Kirk Foster, appreciate that. Hope it will sell. What do you guys think I should get? Drop a comment. I'm curious what you guys think. I want to be able, my main objectives are are to be able to travel a lot of miles comfortably. A lot of people said Super Cs. I'm not really interested in a Super C because I really like the high-end motor coach resorts that are Class A only. So no, I did not sell my detail business. I still have all my equipment and I just sublet the work off to guys I know. Buy the Tiffin Allegro bus. That was a good looking deal. I should go talk to those guys at La Mesa. Um, yeah, that Allegro bus was cool. I don't know. Yeah, if I got a really good deal, I would do that. I would know that I'd have to go back to Red Bay, Alabama. The first thing I would do would be to drive it from Arizona to Red Bay, Alabama, just to shake everything out. And Newmark, King Air, or London Air. I mean, for the right deal, I'd be a player on any of these coaches. But the inventory right now, the dealers just are not being aggressive at all, just because they don't have inventory. I don't know if you guys saw. I did a video a few days ago where I drove through the parking lots of Camping World and Lazy Days, and there was like nothing. It was weird. Yep, no detailing business. I've just answered that a few times. Welcome if you're new to the chat here. My price range, that's a great question. So the nice thing about the newer stuff is you can finance it. Now, I'd rather do something cash. So I'd rather buy something cheaper that's depreciated down, probably something older, because the value, like around that 10-year mark, when people can still get financing, the coaches hold a lot more value. And then when they get to that point where people can't, start a Patreon membership. Yeah, I definitely need to get on that Patreon program. I appreciate that. And next time I do this live, I'll get something where you can throw in and I'll have a better chance of seeing your comment. Endless RVing, they're going to tell me all about that. But I was saying, over 10 years old, coaches take a significant depreciation. But I'm always a sucker for a good deal. So if it was something newer and I could get financing on it. Now, one big problem for me getting financing right now, I have good credit and, I got financing on my previous coach, but I don't own real estate right now where I owned a home when I bought that coach. And that's a big thing. If you want to get RV financing, they want to know that you're a homeowner, and it's a lot more difficult to get financed if you're not a homeowner. See, yeah, 95 Royale, shoot me an email. I haven't even read your whole comment, Real Freedom. Shoot me an email at ansautodetail@gmail.com, please. See, I like that 95 Royale with the Series 60. I'd like an XL. The 8V92s, I don't know. It's a lot of extra work. Not that I wouldn't be afraid of it. I'll ask my buddy BA. That's cool. You're a friend of my buddy Brian Andrus, real good guy. I send him a lot of detail work depending on what area you're in. But I'll get a hold of BA to get a hold of that 95 XL. Can I tilt the right side? JB says the value of my RV will drop if I blacklight the video. My buddy Mitchell was supposed to do a blacklight video of his Newell that he bought that had a couple race car drivers. He hasn't done that yet. The Itasca, I'd have to get a really good deal on a 12-year-old. Those older Winnebagos aren't terrible. I like Winnebagos. It's the Itasca. It's a lot of coach, but they're a lot of money too. Yeah, Series 60. You can't go wrong. Yeah, I have that property in Montana. I did buy that lot. I'm trying to go back up there, actually. I've been trying to make it up there. I've just been super busy. I'm back in Arizona right now, and I have good Wi-Fi here, so it's really easy to get stuff done. But also, there's fires and smoke. Fortunately, my coach is about 50 miles away from where all that is. but I didn't want to even go to Oregon to get my coach because I don't want to hang out there and have to be in the smoke. So as soon as the air quality clears up, I'm going to shoot up to Oregon as my game plan, and grab my coach. And I might shoot over to Montana. I've got all kinds of places to be. Some really cool content I'm working on getting for you guys. A lot to be thankful for. A lot of people have reached out with some like crazy, incredible, unique stuff. I'm trying to get a new Liberty coach with a really cool paint job. I reached out to the owner. I talked to the owner, and if I can get a tour, I'm going to try to travel just to find that coach because it's super sweet. If I was going to get a Prevost inspected, I'd take it over to Kyle over at Border Coach Leasing and pay him to inspect it. I've done a few inspections, a couple videos. Yeah, I know my coach. Unfortunately, my coach was there. I'm definitely gonna have to detail it. You know, everything was closed up, so hopefully it doesn't smell like smoke. But that's definitely something I'm worried about. Definitely gonna have to detail it and get it out of there. But you know, fortunately, it was 50 miles away from the fires. So I know I'm losing it with not having the donations in the live chat. I'll have to figure that out for next time. You know what? That's actually a good thing. I didn't even think about that. MX American said I own that lot in Montana, and that actually might work for getting a loan from the bank. I may make a video about that and just go try to get a loan and use that lot. Yeah, I've got all my paperwork and stuff for it. I'll have to. I don't know if I have a land deed. I got to figure that out. I'll have to figure that out and use that lot. I don't use it as an address, so, and I don't want to be a Montana resident because income tax is too high there. You know, and you're very right. I think it's gonna be really hard to replace it. So if I do get out of it at 100 and a quarter, I'm gonna be firm at that because if I do get out of it, I don't know what I'm going to replace it with. I may have to be, yes, I have talked to Incredible Bank, but I haven't applied for a loan with them, but I should do that. Oh, good. RV Glass Guru fixed a window. Good deal. They've sponsored me on a bunch of videos. This isn't a sponsored video or anything, but glad to see somebody in the comments section happy with the service they received from RV Glass Guru. Do they give loans for $2,000? I think that would be more of like you would probably just get that from your bank or something, or your cash advance on your credit card or something for a $2,000 loan. I don't know if they would do loans that small. They probably want to have it be larger. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see, guys. Any other questions for me in here? I get all these emails and I never have time, so I was hoping. Who painted? Oh, that's a Victor Ostrovsky painting behind me. Victor Ostrovsky is the artist. I got a few of them in here. Have I ever seen a coach that has armor like the luxury armored limo? So there's this crazy, like, I can't even explain it. This RV that was supposed to be on Jay Leno, but there have been a tough time getting it out to LA, and I may have first dibs at filming it. So I'm hoping I have an email. He reached out by email, and I'm waiting for him to get back to me. But that's kind of in that realm. But I'm always looking for that kind of stuff. And happy to film it. And if you guys see anything really cool like that, shoot me a message at ansautodetail@gmail.com. A lot of other stuff. I can only make so many videos about so much stuff. So a lot of people reach out to me with all kinds of ideas. And it's got to really kind of grab my attention because I'm getting pulled in a lot of different directions. So if I don't get back to you, I apologize. I try to keep up with all you guys as much as possible. Any more questions here? Yeah, leasing a Prevost. Absolutely. That's a great idea. A tour bus is if you're only going to use it, that's a great idea. So many RVs being sold right now. Oh, what's this? Oh, what are my top 3 YouTube channels? That's a good That's a good question. I like Endless RVing, Matt's RV reviews. Meet Kevin is another channel I watch a lot. I don't know if you guys watch Meet Kevin. He's always breaking down stock tips and real estate tips and that kind of stuff. Do any of you guys watch Meet Kevin? I know a lot of you guys watch Endless RVing and Matt's RV reviews. Oh, my buddy Stapleton 42, his channel's really good too. Yeah, that's a good question. MX American, I appreciate all the good questions. RV insurance yearly. I don't even know. I was just looking up my insurance because I had to get my VIN number because I was getting quotes, buy bids from all the dealers. So I had to get my VIN number, and you know, I might pay $1,800 a year is the first number that comes to mind for my RV insurance, or it might be every 6 months, 1,800. So it might be. That's a great question. I should know the answer to that question. Either 3,600 a year or 3,600 a year or 1,800 a year, I believe. I'll have to update that. I wish I knew the exact number. I'll figure that out. And no, I'm not buying any cryptos, grams of money. Hello in Montreal there, Tony B. Appreciate you. A lot of subscribers north of the border. I appreciate all the Canadian subscribers. Something about an how long honeymoon? Looking for an Airstream. I really like the older Airstreams. My first RV was a 91 Airstream. Great build quality. I remember the first time I went from that to a big fifth wheel. I had a 91 Airstream and I went to a 2010 KZ Inferno. And the first night I slept in the Inferno with the slide outs, it was huge and so much bigger, but I could hear like traffic for the first time. We're in that Airstream. I never heard any traffic. Yeah, Prevo Life, where's everyone from? What's up, Rob? New Jersey, unfortunately. I know it's hard to get RVs out on the East Coast, endless RVing from what people tell me. Humanity first, you want to invest in RV parks, get something going. So I've got a lot of friends that do real estate development and commercial real estate. And hold on, I'm going to tell you guys about this. I can drink some more water. And the price of dirt, it's just really hard to develop RV parks. And that's one of the reasons why I bought an RV site, is because I know labor keeps going up. All the costs of everything keep going up. The price of dirt keeps going up. So to develop an RV park and what you can rent, it's more profitable and more lucrative to do self-storage or even high-rise condos. Like there was a RV resort, Scottsdale RV Ranch in Scottsdale, Arizona, and they basically mowed down a mobile home park and turned it into an RV park. And then it was there for maybe a year, and then they put up high-rise condos. So RV parks, it's all about location, and you want to be close to the good restaurant. Well, I mean, some people want to be close to all of the amenities. Other people want to get away, but the higher-end RV resorts, it's really nice to be close to amenities and to develop it. There are some new RV resorts popping up, but the cost, the amount of space that a 45-foot rig, takes up, and then it's only seasonable. There's only a few places where you can really RV year round, so it's just really hard to pencil the numbers compared to self-storage. So that's why it's tough. But I mean, if you can get a RV park going, more power to you, and I'll definitely would love to come check it out. How's it going, MC Cowboy in California? Oh, Pacific Shores in Oregon. That's an awesome resort, and that's almost one of the few year-round because it's on the coast. But I guess it gets pretty cold. The Prevos are just more of a tour bus. The Prevos are set up to go 1,000,000 miles and have hundreds of passengers going in and out. So they're just such more of an industrial build. Hey Neil, how you doing? Dan Martin, how you doing? So, yeah, you guys got any other questions? I've been on for 40 minutes already. We've had almost 200 people in here. That's a lot of people. Appreciate all of you guys. Uh, thanks, Matt. Appreciate you coming in. You got to run. Any other questions before we wrap it up here, guys? I'll give you guys a little bit more if anybody else has any questions they really want to ask me. I got to get Big Tony up there, man. Definitely got to get Big Tony up to Pacific Shores. That's definitely on the agenda. No, I cannot park in the winter. It's only open from April 15th to October 15th, or May 15th to October 15th. Matt, appreciate it. It's the price of my fame to be in the 120 to 130 range. Daniel, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm not going to do a toter home because I like Class A resorts. So a lot of the Class A resorts. Thanks for that question, Carl. Oh. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to keep up. Electricity is like $3 to $5 a night, something like that. Profit to purchase at Las Vegas Motor Coach Resort. I mean, anything's a gamble. Anything you're going to do is a gamble. But I think that Las Vegas Motor Coach Resort, there's some good opportunity because the Oakland Raiders Stadium is right there. And as soon as they start playing, and as soon as all those people start coming from the Bay Area to Las Vegas, people in the Bay Area are used to paying such high prices that their perception of money is just a little bit different. So when they come to Las Vegas, they're a little more willing to pay higher prices. So I've watched the sites jump from like 80 grand to 120 grand at LVM, and I think it's very possible it could jump to 150 in the next 5 years. Now it could do what it did in '08 too, so you never know. It's a gamble like anything else, but I just like that stadium. But you never know what's going on with professional sports with everything going on too, so that I could be totally wrong. So entry level. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate the kind words. The refinishing on the cabinet's holding up pretty well in a couple crack places. I've got to hit touch-up paint, but good question. It's holding up pretty well. I mean, really a few, I don't know, I have to look at it. I had them, I kind of shook it out after they did everything, and then, and I had them touch everything up, and then I put probably 5,000 miles on the coach since then, and I think it's pretty good. I'll have to look at it next time I'm up there, but the paint's held up well on the cabinets overall. Airbnb type camping on a private property. Yeah, I think that's a great, investment for some people. I'm not really big into residential real estate rental. I've done that before. I think RV storage would be a better investment personally. If I get an older coach, I'm not worried about the resorts, because if I get like a really nice coach and it's really well maintained, they'll let me in. Take care, Rob, signing out. You never know, Ray, exactly. Curtis, I think they have. They've definitely changed their driver positions on the newer coaches. But the Power Chief, the Noddler Power Chief, I'm not sure what that is, Curtis. Is that like is that a boat? Or I'm not familiar with the Noddler Power Chief. Yeah, so Dwayne, when he looked at his Allegro bus, looked at a Prevost renewal, would definitely have to go back quite a ways. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard from David Bott in a while. I haven't seen him pop up on YouTube. I don't. He hasn't been making too many videos lately. I'm not really sure what he's up to. Um, yeah, Kevin Roberts going to get a Liberty coach. I thought you were talking to my buddy Brad over at Emerald, man. I remember all these things, man. Don't be cheating on my buddy Brad over at Emerald. So, but a Liberty's not a bad way to go too. So, um, Scott, appreciate you. Eureka Springs, some festival. Big Tone's doing good. I don't know. That would grams of money. That's a great point you make there. Getting a Prevo fixer would be really good content. Um, yeah, that would be. It can get expensive though. That's the thing is, this is not a cheap game, and YouTube's been pretty good to me lately. But I've got to be really careful, and it's really easy. You can buy an older coach for 100 grand, and then have to spend another 100 grand to really get it tight. So and then you'll never get that 100 grand back out. Kind of like what I just did with the 30 grand on the Tiffin Phaeton. So let that be a learning lesson. I'm in it because I had to pay sales tax on my coach. When I bought it, I was in it for just under 120 grand, and then I bought it in Florida, so I had to pay 1,000 or 2 in diesel fuel just to get home from Florida. So I think with the diesel fuel and me flying out my whole trip, I called it 120 grand, and then another 30 grand a year and a half ago, and so I'm in it for about 150 grand. And right now I'm like, oh, if I can get out of it for 125, I'd be doing pretty good. But I really wouldn't take any less than that, just because I'm not going to be able to replace it. But my whole strategy would be, hopefully in a year, supply and demand will swing. But I think the stuff that I'm looking at definitely did not get affected as much as like the trailers and the Class Bs. The demand definitely picked up a little bit in the buses and the Class A's, but it's not going to get rocked as hard. I think you're going to be seeing a lot of travel trailers, a lot of fifth wheels, a lot of small Class A's, Class C's. About a year or so, I think we're going to see a lot of that start to come back on the market. And I just saw a post in the Newmar Owners Group earlier today. I was talking about it earlier in the live stream. Someone had mentioned that they bought a coach in March, and now they're ready to start traveling again. People are flying, hotels. I've been on a couple airline flights in the last couple months. They weren't super full, but they weren't empty either by any means. So I think people are getting back to flying in hotels, and some of the people that did buy RVs are going to realize that RVing is a different pace than flying in hotels. And so it'll be really interesting to see. What do you guys think? Drop a comment. Sorry, I keep covering the thing here. You guys think the market's gonna oh, Greg just joined. What's going on, Greg? That's one of my buddies that's been helping me detail for the last 8 years. He's up in Ohio, but he should be back down here in Phoenix. And if you guys need your coaches detailed, he'll be definitely one of the guys that can help you out. Really good guy. Good to see him in the chat here. 2000 Prevo Royale XL. Absolutely non-slide. The Royales, that was like affiliated with Monaco, and I've heard it's really easy to get parts and maintenance on that kind of stuff. Yeah, I would buy a Liberty for the Dean Laux paint job 100%. If money was no object, the Dean Laux paint jobs and the Liberty coaches they've really doubled down about like the no squeaks and rattles, and I'm really impressed with the Liberty coaches, but they're the most expensive too. Thoughts on trailer versus getting a tow car? That's something I've been wanting to make a video out of. Much easier to flat tow. You just unhook a couple pins, you pay attention to it, and then you don't have to store a trailer. The big advantage is if you're towing a trailer, you can back up with a trailer. So you can't back up if you're flat towing, but then you've got to spend all that time to ratchet strap your wheels down and put the car on the trailer. It's just another set of tires that you have to pay for, the tires in the trailer, license plates on the trailer, insurance on the trailer. So just one more vehicle that you got to pay all of those expenses on. So I think flat towing, and I mean, for what I paid, I just bought a new tow bar. For what I paid for this tow bar, I could buy a trailer. They're not cheap, but flat towing is way easier. I've done both, and definitely flat towing. Let's see what else here. I think Liberty's more expensive than Marathon. Yeah. Hello, Susan from Ontario. Appreciate you. My email is ansautodetail@gmail.com. And I'm not able to just answer questions, but if someone wants to hire me for consulting and jump on a phone and have me walk them through the whole RV buying process, I charge $100 an hour. So if you do want to consult with me, more than happy to do that. Shoot me an email at ansautodetail@gmail.com. Robert, what's going on, buddy? Camping World in the house. Robert just messaged me here. I see your message, buddy. Robert gives me the lowdown on everything going on with Camping World. Robert, you want to let them know in the comments what your guys' inventory is looking like right now, bud? Buy a helicopter. Yeah, after flying in that helicopter. If you guys didn't get a chance to see that video I did where I got to fly in a helicopter, definitely worth checking out. That over RV country. So you could see the factories. And that's why you could see, I don't think there's that much of a shortage of RVs. There was a lot of chassis in that video. Barbara, thank you. I appreciate you. Robert, looking at an Omni, but hey, if it's the right deal, bud, it's all about the right deal. Robert, what's the buy bid on my Tiffin? You were the only one that didn't get back to me with a buy bid. I got you my VIN and everything. So drop in the comments what kind of a buy bid Camping World will put on my coach. Daryl Miller, appreciate you. Yeah, the design of the Tiffins are really stepping up. Mike, ansautodetail@gmail.com. A as in Apple, N as in Nancy, S as in Sam, autodetail@gmail.com. Yeah, I want to see some of those for-travel conversions. They did a cool conversion with a spa in the back. That was really cool. Marathon and Liberty are the same price-wise. It comes down to options. I think Liberty's got them beat on the paint jobs, though, truly. And I'm just a Liberty fan of Liberty myself. Did your friend never get approved for that Newmar? I'm not sure which Newmar. $100 an hour. I don't know what you think my time is worth, but it's 2020 monsoon. So, yeah, a lot of people want to call and talk to me for free. And if I'm not making $100 an hour, I've made a lot more than that washing RVs. So, I got to set my boundaries. And if you don't got $100 an hour, sorry, I don't got extra time for you. And that's what these live chats are for. I want to try to answer your questions. So if you don't want to consult, jump in these live chats and ask me these questions, just because writing emails are so time consuming. I'm sure you guys get it. Tiffin versus Thor. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Tiffin's the only family-owned, Tiffin's the only family-owned RV production, Class A, really left. But, it's all about who you can get it serviced by. If you live close to Indiana and you can get servicing from Thor, then that's a better bet. If you live closer to Alabama and you can get it to Tiffin. But I would say Tiffin's definitely going to be the one I like the more of the two, obviously. But a lot of who you choose to buy an RV should be based on who is going to service it and repair all of it and how close you are to them. That's like one of the main things you should keep in mind. Sold the gasser super fast with a bidding war. No, Augusto, no more washing RVs anymore. Every once in a while, I'll wash my own. And I got my rig washed on the road too. It's tough to find good RV detail guys out there. Yeah, Liberty coaches, Ray, I agree with you. Top-notch paint jobs. Yeah, Mike, if they both have tag axles, really depends on where you're going to get it serviced. Robert, sending up the food chain. Robert's my connection with Camping World out in Houston. Really good dude. He's trying to get me a good deal. We're trying to get the top brass involved. Trying to, I'm a sucker for a good deal. It's not really about, I'm just, if you could buy it right, then you can get out of it. That's what it's about. And I overpaid for my Tiffin because it was an emotional purchase. So no, I don't play the lottery. 05-08 country coach. That's Jeff. That's not out of the question. Okay, Endless RVing. Appreciate you guys. I'll have to get on super chats earlier. Grams of money, 100 is cheap. That's what I thought. I've saved a lot of people a lot of money too for $100 an hour. My years and years of experience is definitely worth it. So I thought it was pretty cheap there. Yeah, so many system service is a joke. It's really hard to get these things serviced. And the really good guys are really backed up. Fred, what's the best vintage coach? Any bust? The old Bluebird Wonder Lodges are really nice. Greg, shoot me an email, man, on your Liberty ANS Auto. Well, you're my friend on Facebook, Greg. Greg's the golf guy that did that sweet Liberty Coach golf cart in here. Palm Beach in the house. Yeah, Mike, appreciate all the great questions. Does tandem axle versus single axle make a big difference? It's a pretty big difference in stability. It definitely, people argue both ways, but definitely nothing like a tag axle. It just really feels a lot more like it's on rails. No, I didn't sell my business. I have my insurance, and I have a couple good guys. My buddy Greg should be back soon. My buddy BA, my buddy Brian. Kind of depending on where people are at, I'll kind of send them in the right direction if I get back to them. Sorry if I don't get back to you guys all. Robert says the inventory is super low. This is a guy from Camping World. It's across the board, every dealership. Yep, like you guys saw in that video the other day, I drove through Lazy Days parking lot. It was like empty in there. I've thought about the Class Cs, and I think the Class Cs are a great deal, but I hang out in too many motor coach resorts because I'm chasing all these real high-end stuff. Heather and Court, great question. Would I do it all over? Would I buy something else? No. I think there's a learning curve to this, and if you just jump right into a Prevost, it definitely it's such a learning curve. Like still on my Tiffin, like every time I've got to go through a checklist, and there's just a lot of different systems that you're responsible for operating. And it's a heavy piece of equipment, so you got to really take it seriously. So I think my coach was the perfect learning curve, and you've got to be in a position where, like, if I would have needed that coach, I could pay to get it repaired. Where if I buy a real expensive Prevost, you can get popped for 40 grand, or you can get popped for a ton of money. Where my Tiffin Phaeton was pretty limited at. I think I did get hit with everything I could get hit with. Knock on wood. Who knows what's next? But no, the great question, Heather and Court. I wouldn't change it at all. I really like that coach. I mean, remodeling, it's been fun. Yeah, it cost me a lot of money, but if you're RVing to make money, you're in the wrong game, because this is an expensive hobby for sure. How can 51K on YouTube make you money to sustain your lifestyle? I should do a whole thing about how much money YouTube pays. So the subscriber count isn't as important as the amount of views you get. If you go on socialblade.com, you can see I've been getting I got like 2 million views or 1.9 million views last month. So it's amazing how good Google treats me. I'm extremely thankful for it. So I greatly appreciate all of you guys that watch these videos. Why don't I advertise my own business? I never advertised the detail business because if I did, yeah, and if you guys don't notice, I've never ever really mentioned my detail business or advertise it because it's such a niche market that I had my repeat customers that probably 95 out of 100 people that would call me and reach out were probably not real customers. So if I were to advertise on it, it would create too many leads that I wouldn't be able to even keep up with anyway. And I'm in this little tiny corner of the world, and it's kind of hard for people to get here. So it was just too difficult, and it wouldn't make for what I would have to charge people. Like $1,000 just to drive over to Phoenix. People didn't want to pay $1,000 for RV wash and wax, and that's what it would have cost me. So that's why I kind of shut it down and never advertised it because people weren't willing to pay. Super C is a lot more coached. Yeah, I mean, Super C is definitely a great way to go. A lot of people have been mentioning that in the comments. Like I said, just the Class A motor coach resorts don't allow them. Thin Blue Lane RV Camping World just repaired her main slide for $10,000. What kind of an RV did you have, out of curiosity, for $10,000 in labor to fix a slide out? What's the markup on a new marathon? That's a great question. People on those real high dollar coaches really stay. They don't want to share a lot of that, so it's really hard to know. And some, like I know Newell, my buddy had to sign a non-disclosure when he was making a deal on a new Newell. So some of them even make you sign non-disclosures. Yeah, Jay, keep my Phaeton pre-DEF coach. It's in good shape. Makes sense. Brian, I appreciate the kind words. I hate DEF. Deborah, great question. I like all the pre-DEF stuff. I had a Sprinter. I just sold my Sprinter because it had 70,000 miles, and I knew the Mercedes Sprinters, you can read articles with the DEF tend to have a lot of problems. So, Albuquerque Camping World. What kind of a coach is it? Thin Blue Line, I missed that. Or Thin Blue Lane RV. 2015 Alpha Gold. Well, that's a rare coach. And those Alphas are supposed to be really, really well built. Thanks, Robert. Have a good night, buddy. Appreciate it. So the DEF, Mike, it's one more fluid that you have to add. And then if you talk to guys that own trucking companies and whatnot, when they get to have like 80,000 or 100,000 miles, the DEF tends to create a lot more heat-related issues or just different issues because of the DEF. And if you Google like the Sprinter DEF problems, there was a guy in LA that had 150 Sprinter vans, and he swore that every single one of them had the same problem. And this was when it was still early on. So originally what would happen is one piece would go out, and it would be like a $500 fix. And then 2 weeks later, like the next part of the system would go out, and it would end up being like 15 grand if you do it piece by piece. But then these guys would have these service vans that would be down for a day or two, and then 2 weeks later again. So it really frustrated a lot of people. Now they know it's just 7 grand. You got to fix the whole system. And this particular guy, this article I read, 150 of his vans, he said, have it. So, yeah, my thoughts on DEF. And then I have a buddy that owns a street sweeping company. He had some major problems with DEF because these street sweepers are running real low speed, high RPM, a lot of heat. They don't like the heat for whatever reason. Would you ever buy an RV at an auction? Hey, for the right amount of money, I'm always a sucker for a good deal, but I would definitely take in consideration, and you just have to expect for the worst and hope for the best. Yeah, a lifestyle alpha went out of business. Yeah, I just did David Taylor, Featherlight Coaches. I just did some videos with them. Like Featherlight, it says like private jets and Pravos. Jimmy Adams, the CEO of Featherlight's a real good guy. I saw them out in Sturgis. They've got some really cool designs. So would I ever go for gas, not diesel Class A? That's a great question. If you're not going to be putting down as many miles, like if I was going to say only making a 200-mile jump a few times a year, a gas Class A is a great way to go. But the more miles that you're putting down, you're going to want a heavier duty vehicle. It's just going to be more comfortable. Like when semis pass you on the interstate in a gas Class A, you're going to feel a lot more of that. You're just a lot lighter than the semi, so that wind is going to push you around a lot more. Where, like my experience, my parents had a 2016 Winnebago Brave, the retro, kind of cool. It's one of my first videos I made was a review on that, and it was a really cool coach. But I really had to, you're kind of wrestling the steering wheel the whole time. And then my Tiffin Phaeton's much, much better, but I'm hammering down, 800, 900 miles. It's just to put down 1,000 miles in a gas Class A is going to really beat you up. And then, the Tiffin Phaeton's going to be much more comfortable. And then if you get into like a Prevost or a Newell or like a newer Newmar with the Comfort Drive, or I'm sure even the newer Tiffins as well, with the newer technology, it's going to get smoother and smoother, the nicer and the heavier you get. A good comparison would be like driving a Mercedes versus like a Toyota. If you're driving a Mercedes, it's real heavy and it's kind of pinned to the ground. You could just, run a lot of miles in it, where if you're driving a smart car, say, or like a Prius, it's just going to be popping you around and you're not going to be able to put as many miles down on it. So great question, Mike. Appreciate all the good questions. So Aquahot, that's another thing. I know that there's a crazy story on Aquahot. I'm not going to get into all of that, but yeah, the owners of Aquahot, you can look it up. All kinds of craziness, but I know there was a big ownership change. And from what I've heard, Aquahot took a big quality dive. I don't know when, from when the ownership change happened to not towing with Class A diesel pushers. My thoughts on towing with Class A diesel pushers. Yeah, it's a great way. Just make sure you're safe. Make sure you're within the weight limits. Diesel pushers are awesome. Any tag axle gas Class A's, maybe like the older, I just did the older vintage GMC. Some of the older stuff was gas with the tag axle. Yeah, David Taylor, I don't have my RV detailing business anymore, so I don't need any suggestions, but thank you. Mountain Falls in North Carolina, I'd love to hopefully go there sometime. I know it's a beautiful resort. Gas Class A is okay if you want a toy hauler. I would say if you're going short trips, like if you're going to try to, go across country in a gas Class A, it's going to be a workout. Can you do live streams at the next RV show or dealer? Yeah, I need to. I need to figure out how, because I'm not getting paid for any of this, which it's all good. I want to, give back to you guys. But if I can get the super chats and stuff, and if this was monetized, I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'll definitely try to do more live streams. Fleetwood was a 36 with a tag axle. Yeah, some of the older ones. Um, Paul Clark, yeah, sorry we missed. Yeah, it was kind of a last minute live stream. Um, a lot of different variables on depreciation. My coach has about 45 or 46,000 miles on it. How should you budget for maintenance on a used Prevost? I've heard a general rule of thumb is about 10,000 a year for maintenance on any diesel pusher. So whether it's a Prevost or like a Tiffin Phaeton like mine, just plan on 10 grand a year. But the Prevosts that have some of the more complex systems, fixing air leaks can get expensive, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm not really big into the sand dunes. I've been out there, but I'm not really too big into that. I prefer to go to the lake than the Glamis sand dunes. Grab some money. What's your budget? Thank you, JP. Appreciate the kind words. Oh, any chance you plan to upgrade your GoPro? Here, I'm gonna have to readjust this a little bit and actually show you guys. So this is this new GoPro 9. It just came out today. I gotta show this off. I'm really excited about this. Um, Literally, I'm trying to get the best equipment to get you guys the best content. So I saw that this came out this morning, the GoPro 9. So yeah, I have other cameras too. They're not out here, but yeah, I've got a lot of. I'm just using this GoPro case as a stand here. So yeah, definitely always trying to get you guys the best content, trying to get the best equipment for that. 10K plus parking costs. Oh yeah, no, 10K, that's just for your maintenance. That's not fuel, that's not parking. That's just in your oil changes, your tires. Keep in mind on these sets of tires on these coaches are super expensive, so you're gonna have to get new tires every 5 to 6 years. Um, that it all adds up. Then your belts, all of your transmission fluid. You gotta lube the chassis. Just a lot of stuff. Black gold. I would use McGuire's D301, and if you go to some of my detailing videos, I've got the Amazon link in the description below. Tom asked, being an RV detail guy, what do you recommend for polishing a black gold RV? McGuire's D301. Any opinions on the Newmar Canyon Star? Really cool coach, the toy hauler. I need to see one of those in person, but I've always heard good things about Newmar. And that Canyon Star is built on the same production line that a King Air is built on. So a lot of that same 50K a year to live in a Prevost. I wouldn't say that. I mean, just budget 10K a year for like your maintenance. I mean, it could be very easily 50K a year. It could be 50K a month to live in certain Prevosts, but I'd just say a general rule of thumb would be 10 grand for maintenance, and then just hope that you don't have big repairs. But big repairs can happen. I interviewed a guy 14 years of owning a marathon coach about a year ago. If you look that up, it's titled like Marathon Coach Owner Interview after 14 years. And he gave it good. He'll probably answer some of your questions in that video. Port St. Lucie. Well, Montana and Port St. Lucie. Glenn asked, why did I go to Montana instead of Port St. Lucie? Well, those are two places that I'll be in different times. The Montana is strictly for the summer, and then Florida is somewhere where. And I want to go check that resort out and check out some of their sites. Doreen is the sales gal over there. I did a video at Motor Coach Resort, Port St. Lucie West, and I wasn't really thinking about buying an RV site, but I'm thinking about buying something in the southern climate. I probably would if I buy another RV site. I'd probably go full time in the RV. Paint checking. I need to do a video on that. No, I mean it can be repaired, but it's super expensive, and it can get into the cost of the coach. So Deborah asked, what exactly is paint checking? Basically, I wish I had a picture of it. It's little tiny cracks, and you're going to see it on a lot of Country Coach, Monaco, Beaver, Holiday Rambler, pre 2010 stuff, you're going to see it on darker colors more so than lighter colors. And what happens is the fiberglass heats up and it expands, and the clear coat gets these little tiny check marks in it, and it's really easy to miss. Like if the coach is dirty, you may not see it. So you really want to inspect it. And actually, my dad just bought a coach that has paint checking. I need to make a video about that. He bought a Winnebago. And you have to pretty much redo the whole wall if you want to fix that. So you just have to kind of live with it. Yeah, paint checking, not good. Something you really, I need to make a video about that. Thank you, Deborah. What happened to Las Vegas Resorts? I haven't checked off that thing. I just haven't made any moves. I've been really busy traveling and hadn't bought anything yet. Do banks or mortgage loan companies recognize Google monies as legit income for loans? Yeah, it's real money. I've got a year of tracked revenue. But I still don't. I'm not big into debt and borrowing, and I'd really not want to put myself in a position where, because this YouTube, they could turn me off at any minute, and so I never forget that. And I would never get in a position where I depend on YouTube money to pay my bills. That's a good question, Jeff. When did Prevo go to all stainless structure? Great question. I don't know. If anybody knows when Prevo went to all stainless structure, I talked to a gentleman that was really interesting, that he was breaking down a lot of, he's got a Prevo with a full wall slide in it. I'm going to try to go see that in Pennsylvania. Hey, Mike from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. A lot of good folks out there in Sioux Falls. Silver Eagle, very cool. Please no politics or anything like that in the comments. The HO fees at these different RV resorts, good question, Jason. What do the HO fees run from resort to resort? The one in Montana is $160 a month, but you're only using it half the year, so call it $320 a month. The one in Vegas, I think it was a little more expensive. I think it was like $300 a month year round, but you can use it year round. Yeah, I'm doing YouTube full time right now, and I've always got my hand in other stuff too. I'm always doing all kinds of stuff. I've been consulting people too, helping people buy their RVs. So if you want to pay me to like make phone calls for you and do a lot of the legwork for you, a lot of the people watching this channel, their time is very, very valuable. So if you compensate me at a rate of $100 an hour, more than happy to help you. ANSautodetail@gmail.com. Shoot me a message. That's a great question, DJ. Why would I consider selling my coach? That's a great question. I've been hanging around too many people with nicer stuff, and I've probably got keeping up with the Joneses mentality. And I don't know, I just like having nice stuff, why not? We only got one shot around. So, but I definitely really like my Tiffin. But if I can get something nicer and step it up, I think it would be fun. No D-Lam on the riveted coaches. So the XLs that are before 2001, I believe they went to the XL2s. Somewhere right around that 2001 year is when they made the change from the XL to the XL2. And the D-Lam isn't that big of an issue. I always talk about it, but Kyle at Border Coach Leasing can fix any coach XL2 D-Lam for probably 6 to 10 grand by just gluing it. Now, it's not the same riveted repair that Prevo does, but at least they're the panels aren't going to fly off. So $300 a month at Pacific Shores. You can stay there year round. MC Cowboy, how do you rent your site out? Are you there most of the time? How long have you owned it for? Do you think it's a good investment? Any feedback you have, MC Cowboy, I'd appreciate it. I had my interior done at Palacios in Scottsdale. Weren't Prevost always stainless steel from day one? That's a great question. I should know my Prevost issue, my Prevost history. Jason Turner, you've got the same issue. I apologize, but you know what though? They're cool toys, and we've only got one shot around. So yeah, how cool was it to fly in the helicopter? Thanks, Larry. Great question. It was awesome. You cannot thank Dean Laufs enough for that experience. If you ever get a chance to go up in a helicopter, and if you get a chance to just check out that video, it didn't get a lot of views, but that was a really cool experience. How was I introduced to the RV world? Daryl Miller. So I was running my mobile detailing business and pretty much didn't know anything about RVs. I'm already done with my water here. So it was 2010 in Arizona, or 2009 in Arizona, and it was really tough times in the mobile detailing business. The economy, the Phoenix economy, got really hit more so than any other market. Las Vegas and Phoenix, the real estate markets really got hit in '09. So people, it was like so hard to sell a mobile car wash or a mobile detail. So I looked into the RVers, and I started meeting all these RVers that were still happy to pay good money to get their coaches detailed. And I very quickly enjoyed hanging out with the RVers more than all of the Scottsdale and Paradise Valley, Arizona, Bentley and Rolls Royce owners. The RVers were like inviting me over for steak dinners and just tipping us well. And so just being around the RVers, working for them is how I got into it. And then I went to South Dakota because in the summertime in Arizona, it's really hard to detail. And I thought it'd be a good idea to chase the snowbirds up there. And I did that for the last 9 years. And I ended up, what happened, I kind of got forced into RVing. I rented a basement that summer, and it was June of 2011, and they got record rain, and our landlord was at a wedding in the Bahamas or something, so we couldn't get a hold of our landlord. There was like a couple inches of standing water. I had a Rottweiler. There's my Rottweiler Bubba. If you guys ever see my tattoo, that's my guy there. I never show you guys, but so I had Bubba with me, and I kind of had to buy an RV because if I wanted to stay in South Dakota, I couldn't live in standing water. So I got on Craigslist and found in 1991 I had like 10 grand. That was all I could spend, and I think I paid like 8 grand for it, and I probably only had 8 grand. That was probably all I could spend, and yeah, that was really cool. I ended up remodeling that. I wish I would have taken more pictures, and I flashed some before and after pictures in a couple videos, but that was how I got into to RVing. So I had an Airstream trailer. So yeah, grams of money, high end towables. I've got a lot of videos on like some Van Lee beacons and some mobile suites that are out there. I'd like to do more. I know Big Truck, Big RV really has a lot of videos out there. MC Cowboy not in the rental pool, but the lot has increased 100% in value. So appreciate that. MC Cowboy owns at Pacific Shores, says the lot's gone up 100% in value. And that's what I'm kind of hoping for, taking the gamble that something like that will happen in Montana. Fingers crossed. Pacific Shores, you're on the ocean. They don't make more oceanfront property. Oxidized RV, I would use OptiCoat Gel Coat Restorer, not a compound. I mean, you can use like 3M Perfected. Briscoe asked, what's the best compound and polish to use for oxidized paint on RVs? Minzerna Fast Gloss 400 is a good compound, but I would use something like that. OptiCoat Gel Coat Restorer. I have a video on that. Now, it doesn't leave a perfect, there's like, if you really look at it, you might see little lines in it, but from like 5 or 10 feet away, it's going to look a lot better and it's going to last a lot longer. Compounding gel coat, I would not wish on my worst enemy. Andrew, why not just buy your own lot in Montana? Put it in, yeah, put in a well septic. Because I'd be sitting in the forest by myself. Like, I got all kinds of, all the converters will have coaches on display at Polson Motor Coach Resort. So if I'm hanging out there, I'm sure I'll be able to make some YouTube videos. I've got all kinds of cool neighbors with interesting stories. Mark Martin's one of my neighbors up there, the NASCAR driver. Hopefully I can do more videos with him in the future. So yeah, that's why Ron asked why I don't just buy my own lot and just kind of do my own thing. I'd rather be at a motor coach resort where they rent it out too. Like Paul rents it out. I should have a check waiting in the mail from when it's done. Am I selling my RV myself? I don't know how I'm going to sell my RV. I'm not going to personally take phone calls if someone wants to buy my RV. I know a lot of different brokers, and a lot of them will really hook me up just because they know I'll give them good publicity. And I've got good friends too. One of my buddies said he'll take calls if I just want to sell it myself, but there's no way. There's so many tire kickers out there. I hate to say it. They ruin it for the serious buyers, because if I was to try to sell that myself, I would just have all these people that just are looking for a friend hit me up, and I just don't have time for them. There's enough of those already, and I don't advertise anything. So DJ just purchased a Newmar Country Star. Check that. Yeah, I love Newmars. I just test drove a Newmar Essex and did a Newmar Essex of Malin Miller's, the former owner of Newmar's previous coach. I was hanging out with his grandson, Theodore Miller. I actually got a chance to have dinner with Malin Miller, and that was a really cool experience. I didn't bring any cameras or anything. I was just enjoying that. It was an awesome meal. They eat well. Thanks again, Theodore. Best diesel motor and drivetrain, bar none. Yeah, Jay, sorry, this is kind of last minute. I just thought I'd try to go live, and I still got to learn a couple things. Yeah, so Heather and Court, I used the same tow bar for my Sprinter van, but the arm was like, it was getting old, and basically Blue Ox on that model, it was like Heather and Court asked if I use the same Blue Ox tow bar. Yes, I did for my Volkswagen Jetta and my Sprinter van, but it's old and I can't get it serviced, and they don't have a rebuild, so that's why I just bought a brand new tow bar. So good. Heather and Court, they've been really busy working hard. I want to get some more videos with Heather and Court, Midlife Prevo. Some of the coolest people. One of my first YouTube videos, it's funny because they have on their Instagram where they shared my YouTube channel, like a screenshot of my YouTube channel when I had 42 subscribers. They were promoting, they probably had 1,000 Instagram followers at the time, and they were like promoting me. So I really appreciate Heather and Court. We got to get some videos. DJ, appreciate that. Beaver, really cool coach. I want to learn more about them. 525 Cat, made in the same kind of part of the world as Country Coach. At that same era, definitely a high quality rig, but I would like to know more about Beavers. But you got to watch out for that paint checking, and I really need to make a video about paint checking. Heat causes paint checking. If you own one of those coaches, that's another reason I didn't bring my coach to Arizona right now. I left it in Oregon, is because I just don't want it in the heat, like a month or two in the Arizona heat. In a Country Coach, Beaver, Monaco, Holiday Rambler, any of those will you'll get checking. So I got people coming in on the messages, and yeah, I get so many messages a day. That's why I have this live chat, just to answer your questions. I was telling people earlier in the chat, if you weren't in here earlier, that I basically just cannot keep up with all of the people that message me. And basically what I tell them is I'd be happy to spend an hour with them if they want to compensate me at a rate of $100 an hour to help them with their RV buying process. and happy to do that. My email is ansautodetail@gmail.com, but there's just no way to keep up with all the questions. So it just takes way too much time to read any email. So that's why I wanted to do this live stream. So where do I see myself in 5 years? That's a great question. So Social Blade has some pretty big projections for me, but who knows? I mean, I could be doing this YouTube still. I could not be doing this YouTube. I've definitely got different goals, but I'm gonna go where the wind blows me. So time to change the email handle. Yeah, I know. I've used that email for a long time. It works good. So tour the 2008 Beaver Marquee at Premium Coach Group. I'll look those guys up tomorrow. I know that Country Coach that my buddy Marty sold is getting delivered tomorrow. A 2007 Allegro bus is really similar to my Coach. Tiffins are great of that era. That's why I bought my Tiffin Phaeton, but I'm just ready to change it up. So, well, guys, I think I've been in here for about an hour and a half. Any last questions, real quick? Favorite front end chassis? That's hard. My favorite front engine chassis, motor, and transmission. I don't know enough about them, to be honest. I like those, I like those Super Cs. I just don't know enough to really answer that question. DEF is diesel exhaust fluid. They added it in 2010, where it's like an additive, and it just creates a lot of problems. And it's one extra thing. You have to fill it up every so many fuel tanks. All right, guys. Well, hey, greatly appreciate all of you guys. I'm going to try to do these live streams more often and figure out the super chat so I can make sure I'm getting all your questions and everything. So appreciate you guys, and I hope you're all having a good night. Appreciate all of you subscribing. Thanks again.